now or any second. It started now. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to another Excel Toronto Meetup group session. Now we are in June 2025, and we are in the AI era. And because of that, we have Gaëtan Mourmant today to walk us through some examples using ChatGPT with Excel. And it's a topic that will be useful for everyone, me included, because these things, this AI is in our world now to stay and evolving very fast. Any knowledge we can gather and learn and practice, it's going to be useful for us in the future. So we will start in just a minute. Gaëtan, thank you so much for being with us. I will introduce you in a couple of minutes. Let me just go through a couple of slides here. So as you know, our session is being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel later in a couple of days. You will receive an email with a link for the recording and some files and information that Gaëtan is sharing with us. So if you don't consent to be part of the recording, you need to step out of the session today, and then you can enjoy watching the recording later on YouTube. Our team, my name is Celia Alves. Some of you already know me. For those who are new, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the group. I am an Excel MVP. I've been in that program for a couple of years, over 5 years now. And this group was founded 6 years ago. We have sessions happening every month. At the moment, we run 2 sessions every month. One of them is more dedicated to people starting their Excel journey. The other one is dedicated to more advanced, we call it the Excel expanded. So any more advanced or kind of outside Excel topics, but that still relate to Excel. And I work as a business analyst and advocate for Sheetcast. Sheetcast happens to be our present lead sponsor. So thank you to them. I will talk about them in a little bit. Aurora, thank you for joining us. Aurora is co-hosting with me today, helping with hosting. Do you want to say, introduce yourself, Aurora?
Sure. Thank you. Hello. Thank you for attending, everybody. I am a freelance consultant providing data analytics solutions using Microsoft products from Excel to Power BI, Power Automate, Power Apps. I will be your co-host today, monitoring the chat for questions and providing links and whatever you need today.
Thank you, Aurora. And we also have a couple of people volunteering with us. In fact, all of us are volunteers. All the work done here is for free, including the presenters, myself, Aurora, and we also have a couple of people helping with creating the timestamps for our videos so that when we review and we want to go back to a certain spot, it makes it easier for us. AI can do a little bit of help with that, but it's never perfect. So we need a human to review the work that AI does. We cannot rely on AI solely for that. So thank you to all of them. And we have a couple of sessions, 2 more sessions before our summer break that will happen during the month of August. So in August, we are not having any sessions, but in July, we have 1 session about dynamic arrays with Jacob Nielsen. He works for the Microsoft Excel team. And he has been building a couple of nice tools using dynamic arrays and other fancy stuff, but he will be teaching us about dynamic arrays. It's a topic that I truly recommend. If you haven't started with them, I encourage you to come and learn. And then Bill Jelen will be coming in on July 23rd to guide us through some of the most essential features in Excel that he says your manager thinks you already know them. So people get outside college, get out of the college into their jobs, and sometimes they don't get any Excel training. and people just assume, their managers just assume they know certain things. After all of us know how to use Excel, right? That's what people say. Everyone knows Excel. So, but some of these features, we sometimes don't know them, or we forget about them. It's just a nice session to go over some of the essentials. And if you are starting with your Excel journey, this is a good starting point as well. So feel free to register. There's the QR code there, and Aurora probably is going to also add the sessions on the chat so that you can register before you forget. Sheetcast is an add-in for Excel that allows us to transform Excel workbooks into web applications, solutions that work on the web. It's a very interesting product. I am lucky to have joined the company just almost less than a year ago, almost a year ago. And we are actually now providing training to people who want to learn how to use this tool. Feel free to take a look at that link. There's information about all the workshops. These workshops are for free, and you can learn an extra skill to help you be able to prepare different tools than other people. This is not a common product, so it's just a unique skill that you will have that may differentiate you from other consultants. And thank you to all our other sponsors. Solved Excel is my consulting business, MrExcel.com. You can find help there and books, and Women in Excel, a LinkedIn group for women who like Excel. Feel free to take a look. When I send the file after the call, you will get this PDF and you will have links to all these sites. So feel free to take a peek. And as a member of the Excel Toronto, you get 20% off all the digital books from Mr. Excel bookstore. We will be putting I'll put the code in just a minute in the chat as well. And you can also find that information on the Meetup page after you register you log in as a member. And if you need Excel help with any topic, I recommend that you check the mrexcel.com/board Excel forum from Mr. Excel. Is where you can find free help for quick questions about Excel that you may have and where you may be stuck for a moment. And you will get all the other resources available in this slide as well, newsletter, YouTube channels, blogs, and whatnot. So enough of that. Thank you for waiting and for your patience. Today we have Gaëtan Mourmant with us. Gaëtan is an Excel MVP living in Canada, in the Nova Scotia. Yes, Lunenburg. Originally from France, and he's an enthusiast of technology in general and AI in particular lately, one of his areas of exploration. And Gaëtan has been an Excel MVP since 2021 and built his first spreadsheet at the age of 11. Well, well ahead of many of us, to optimize a school project menu, carbohydrates, lipids, etc. He also holds a PhD in Management of Information Systems and can help you automate your processes. With the rise of generative AI, Gaëtan is now developing solutions to fully leverage this incredible revolution we are currently experiencing. From creating faster Excel solutions, automating the production, modification, or analysis of thousands of documents, to implementing AI-powered user forms with a single click. Everything is coming together, from thousands of Word documents analyzed by generative AI to the delivery of interactive and insightful reports using Excel or Power BI. Quite interesting projects that Gaëtan develops, including this one that is being mentioned in his bio. I had a chance to look at it recently. So Gaëtan will guide us through some examples that can be useful for us if you know how to take advantage of ChatGPT when working with Excel. Thank you, Gaëtan, for offering your time to work with us today to present. And feel free to just complete the introduction that I just made, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me start my timer so I won't be outside.
Thank you.
Here we go. Thank you so much for welcoming me. I'm so happy to be with you. It's one of my favorite topics, and at the same time, I feel like I'm a complete beginner because you need to keep a very strong critical thinking when you're using those tools. So, you know, the imposter syndrome, well, I have it right now, so I'll go over it, and then we're going to play with it. So let me share my screen, and then we're going to jump into it. If I find the... Can you check if I can share my screen?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I changed the meeting settings. I need to make you a presenter again. Sorry about that. Okay. Make a presenter.
Okay.
Should be able now.
Yeah. That will be this one. Also, I have three screens, so I need to be careful which one I'm using. I have, as Celia was mentioning, I'm from France, so even though I've been living in Canada for quite a while, I still have a strong, cute, according to my wife, French accent. So please let me know if I'm speaking too fast or if you don't understand something. I will be very happy to repeat. You may have closed captions somewhere. I don't know where it is in this, but I'm pretty sure you can find them. So thank you, Celia and Aurora, for organizing it. Every time I'm feeling super excited, super stressed, but super excited about it. So I'll be very happy to share a little bit of what I've been experimenting about that. And this is for Excel beginners. And I know some people in the audience have already advanced tools. So oui, je peux aussi continuer en français aussi. Merci, Tom. So I could also continue in French as well, but I don't think everybody will follow. So I'd like you to start to think about 3 or 5 practical questions you have in Excel as beginners. We're going to play with biases of AI, and I think Oz is here, and I know he's not a big fan of AI or is seeing a lot of problems with it, and we can talk about it later on. And I completely agree. There are a lot of problems, and I just want to show a few of them so that we are aware of those problems and why and how we can deal with them if it's possible. I'd love to show you also something about how to create a specialized GPT. We're going to talk about that. And also another question that we'll ask more maybe at the end is what domain interests you beyond Excel and AI? And then the idea would be to start thinking, okay, how can I use Excel and AI to create new tools, new application in your domain? So what would be your domain of interest? So being who I am, well, first, I want to also point to a talk that was given by Steve Krenak on the Excel Toronto Meetup. It's a very good talk on AI. The questions that are here, I think, are still extremely valid. So questions such as, how do I write a formula, explain this formula to me, ask ChatGPT for insight about a set of data, create sample data to help you learn, write a macro too. I think those questions are still very useful for beginners. So we're going to use some of them together. This is a list of topics I was thinking about talking about. That's a lot. That's a little bit too much. You already see there is a little bit of hallucination somewhere. I asked ChatGPT to reorganize all my topics. So I started with this list of topics and I thought, okay, can you categorize that because it's a mess? So it did that job, more or less. Great, we'll see. And I think hopefully we'll be able to go through a lot of them. So we'll have fun. But I'd like to do a kind of an experiment here, and I would like to, in the spirit of using a very unreliable tool such as AI, because every time you ask a question, you have a different answer. It feels like doing some improv. So if you have seen this movie, I just watched it yesterday. That was a good introduction. It's a group of improv comedians that are going in deep cover with cops to try to bust a drug cartel. It's very fun. And at the same time, it feels a little bit like this sometimes when you use AI, because you don't really know what will be the context, if the context will be understood, etc. So let's do a little bit of interaction. This is a link I'd like you to click on, and it's about a short question on your practical challenges. So you can use your phone and do a copy, use a QR code for that. And I also copied the link into the chat if you prefer to use your computer directly. So I'm just going to give you maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Think of some practical challenges that you would like to resolve. And if we've got something simple enough for Excel beginners, we'd love to use that question to do something with it. So I'm just going to wait a minute or two, and then we're going to look at the result. And Tom, I also put the link in the chat, so you can also click on it in the chat. So far, I don't have any result, but I see that there is 13 participants that are playing with it, so we should get a few answers very quickly.
So there's a comment there from Oz saying that, and Elizabeth as well, saying that they get a screen saying that they are waiting for the presentation to start.
Does it solve the problem?
I got at least 3 to 5 current practical challenges involving Excel. But Oz and Jeff also now say that they see it now. So
thank you. It's my first time using it from that side, so it's also a new tool for me. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, I already have some results, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to let people continue to finish writing, and I'm going to switch back to my presentation. So, and we're coming back just after. When you first open ChatGPT, when you first create an account, you have 3 disclaimers here, especially 2. The first one is ask away, so you can ask questions, that's great. The second one is don't share sensitive information. So I think this is something that we still need to keep in mind. So whenever I'm working with an AI, I have this in the back of my mind on a constant basis, to the point that I vibe coded, or I developed a tool to anonymize all the documents that I'm going to use, so that the information of my client is not going to be somewhere in an AI. So it's something I'm paying a lot of attention to. The second thing is check your facts. And I think we've seen a lot of examples. I still think it's extremely important to check the facts. And this is where we have kind of, for beginners, this is where it starts to be a bit difficult to use, because how can I check the fact on something that I'm not an expert in? So this is probably the key aspect that we'll try to solve. Now, there is something that I love. It's called a visual illusion. And I think I would like to use it as a metaphor to understand generative AI. So do you see my screen? What
yes.
are the 2 colors that we have here? we've got something like a brown dark and something like a yellowish brown light. Okay. Now, if you all agree, you can say yes, no on Menti, and I may be able to see the answer of it. Okay. This will be good. I'm going to enter here. Okay. So if you see two different colors, you can press yes. It's on the next step. So as you press yes, the little bubble should arrive, and hopefully we'll have a lot of yes. So people will see the two different colors as two different colors. And that's what's going on here. Got 5, 6, 7, 10. So it seems like everybody is seeing it the way it's supposed to see. Now, the problem is, if you take them apart, they're exactly the same color. If I bring them back, and I'm not changing the colors, I'm doing this, they're back to this. So it's a very interesting visual illusion. And what is really interesting is that even if you know that you have an illusion, your brain is not able to compensate for it and is not able to get it right. And this is really annoying. So this visual illusion, if you don't trust me, you can do more experiment. So if you use Power Toys, I'm going to give you a shortcut here. It's Windows Shift C. It's allowing you to capture a specific color. And you could do that on both. I'm not going to do it, but Windows Shift C is very interesting when you are in Excel. So because of the screen, we don't have the exact same number, but I'm pretty sure I can find the exact same number somewhere here. Okay, we've got one about 255 power of 3, I think, number of colors, different colors. So it's probably why we don't have the exact same one, but you can trust me on that. I could also use Windows Shift S, which is something I use constantly, and I can create, so S for screen, and I can copy this into an Excel file. Just want to show you I'm not cheating. So Control V, that's my first one. And I'm going to do the same thing with Windows Shift S again. I'm going to select this. I'm going here and I paste it. And you see they are the exact same color. So free shortcuts, because I love this shortcut, and they are very useful, I found, when we use ChatGPT and Excel. So Windows Shift S for screen, Windows Shift C for color, and Windows Shift V or Windows V, which allow you to access the history of the presse papier, which is clipboard, I think, in English. So everything you've copied so far. Okay, so this is fun. Now let's do exactly the same thing with an AI. So I don't want to burn the planet. We have a heat wave right now in Canada, so I'm not going to ask you to do that one, but I'm going to paste the link so you don't have to do it, but you can still see the result and play with it. So I just copy paste it in the chat. If you click on it, it should open ChatGPT. So, and hopefully to put it somewhere. Okay. So if you go at the beginning, this is a typical illusion of draw me a clock indicating 9:30. And we've got a 10:10. No, do you think you could have made a mistake with this prompt? There's a problem here. It looks like the image reflected the description, blah, blah, blah. Check again. I apologize if there is a mistake. Let me generate another image. And then I ask, why can't you draw such a clock? The same way as if I were to ask you, why can you not make the distinction between the light brown and the dark brown, you'll be able to explain because the colors around have a different shade. Some are more luminous than the other, and therefore my brain is misinterpreting. It's a resolution of the evolution of our brain. And kind of similarly, the AI has the same type of sticky hallucination. Okay. So that's a mistake on its end. It's super sorry, blah, blah, blah. And the problem is if I continue to do that, it's going to continue to hallucinate. You can play with it later on, but there is no need because I don't want to burn some server, and we've got enough heat on the planet. Now, one thing which starts to be interesting is for this type of mistakes, it says here this kind of mistakes happen because image generation models sometimes default to aesthetically common clock time, and a lot of clocks have been trained on marketing clocks. And so because of that, we see this type of result. So it's one of the problems we have. However, we can say, okay, use Python to generate the clock. And then it's going to use Python and switch. So we switch the way. So instead of tapping into the AI repository of clocks, we're just going to tap into the AI Python code that they have. I don't know if it will work, but I should take this and run it into it. Let's see, can you do it in VBA? I've never tried that. So I told you I'm going in deep cover, full improv. Okay, so this is the code that I got here. I will have to test it. So let's test this and see if it will work. Control N. So for Excel beginners, before you could use VBA, you need a couple of things. The first one is you need to have the developer to be shown. To show it different ways, I usually do customize the ribbon, and then I'm going to click on developer. Once developer is there, you can choose Visual Basic, Alt F11 if you like the shortcut. And once we have this, then we have the different books, and we can insert a module, and I can paste. I change the color for my computer, and then I am going to press the run button, and maybe not, we'll have a clock indicating 9:30. Almost there.
The handles are a switch, it seems, right? But
yeah.
Other than that, it's almost good.
Okay. Now, the good thing is I can continue to interact with the AI and start to solve that problem. So from that perspective, I prefer to use this approach, but you see that it generated the code. We've got the thing. I'm not cheating. I've never done it before. And there's probably here the way to do the hour angle and the minute angle somewhere. So it probably computes itself somewhere, but that would be relatively easy to fix, I think, once you have the understanding of the VBA. If you don't have the understanding of the VBA, this is where it starts to be more difficult, and that's what Celia was mentioning earlier, where like, okay, now I have this big code, I have to read it to understand where is the stupid mistake that the AI has done. Thank you, Owen. Yes, I agree. Dark mode would be a great thing in ChatGPT. So I can continue to do this. So let's bring back the bias here. Okay, make sure it is 9:30. And let's see if it's able to correct itself. Also, you can note that I'm using ChatGPT 3.5. Here by default, I'm using the non-paid version. I usually don't use this one because some are more advanced. So let's see if this is better. So I'm going to copy this, Control A, Control V, and then I'm going to run it again. I'm taking some risk here because I don't know if it's going to work. Let's remove this. Okay. And I'm not going to waste too much time because I want to talk about other things. But after some work, I should be able to make it work. And at this stage, I'll probably, again, go into the code and tell him, okay, it's not working, what's going on? Okay, but as I'm presenting live, and I'm not good in improv, I'm not going to go into it. Maybe there's something easy to solve. Okay, so it's just an idea of what we can do with AI. The next things, so let's bring this here. So the goal was to show you an example of a sticky hallucination. And what will be your most annoying AI hallucination with Excel and VBA? You can go to the next question.
So we can simply refresh, right?
I think there is a next in Menti, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see.
I could be mistaken.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I need to get the QR code again then.
Possible. Interesting. For the two different colors, so 2% out of 18 were able to see this.
Can we get the link again for this question now?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay.
Put it back into the chat.
I just posted it in the
Thank
chat.
you.
And
No,
yes,
it
it's
still
my
goes.
mouse.
I still get the question about the two different colors instead
Okay,
of
so
the
maybe I
next
need
one.
to...
With the QR code at least. So never mind. The link is working well. It's the QR code. The QR code. It's for the previous question.
Oh, I see.
Oh, now
that's
it went back. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
H. Okay, and it seems you're not the only one that could access it. So what I'm going to do is
we can put it in the chat, maybe.
Yeah, well, you could do that as well. What I'm going to do is go back to the result that we had here, and I'd like to look at some of it. So XLOOKUP is one of the challenges I was thinking of looking at. So maybe we can play with XLOOKUP. PDF into Excel table, that's a great one. We can look at it as well. Okay, integrate with LLM, write VBA. We'll talk a little bit about it and some of the challenges. For example, remitted and then further remitted by customer is the invoices paid at. I think that would be more advanced. Okay. So right now I'm using ChatGPT and ChatGPT Pro. Everything I'm showing you so far has been done with ChatGPT, not Pro. Troubleshooting DAX. I was so happy yesterday I had a pretty complex DAX function to write, and it was a breeze. So I really liked it. So I'm not sure. It's also a bit advanced, but that's possible to do. Brian Julius is the god of DAX and AI. If you're not following him. Okay, so let's do a bit of merging of a table. So we're going to, so this is the example I had in mind. So we're going to do this, especially with some XLOOKUP. So we're going to see if we could do this. The inconsistency of the result from AI, absolutely. And I don't think we'll get away of it. There is a parameter you can use, which is the temperature. The temperature, and it's when you use AI with, what do you call that? With the API. And then you can play with the temperature, which is a sort of a proxy for the creativity of the AI. But this is a bit complex. So we're not going to jump into this one. So let's play with some Excel table. And what I invite you to do is to do the same thing as I'm going to do, which means we're going to play with ChatGPT and we're going to play with an Excel table as well. So let's do this one, which will cover what I had in mind, and we'll cover also some XLOOKUP at the same time. So this is 3 prompts that we're going to go, and I really invite you to do them as well in the same time, so we can maybe see if there is a lot of disparities, a lot of differences, or if they are the same. So I haven't tested them in depth. They are not even, probably there's some mistakes in English, but we'll see if we can do that. So let's do the first one, and then I'm going to also copy the second one, and then I'll copy the third one into the chat. And we'll see if it's working well, not well, and what we could do to improve. So for those who have never used ChatGPT, this is the plus version. I'm going to use the non-plus version. So you can create here a new chat. Choose the model here. I'm using also an extra tool. That's why you have those yellowing thing, but you can just ignore it. And I'm going to type the first prompt that I have. So Windows V. I have my list of prompts here that I copy pasted. I'm just going to ask for this. Create and populate. I don't need this, but I'm going to explain what it does. It's just simply taking a picture of what I copied as well. So I'm just going to send this. So the problem is it's going to process the image as well. I may or may not want that to happen, so I can just stop the process if I can. Scroll it. Okay, then paste. And this time I'm just going to click here to delete the image. I think someone mentioned that it was a little bit too small and just made it. Okay, so that should be a little bit faster here. So it's going to give me a list and automatically populate with the different table. So I've never done that, and you probably all have something different because it's the nature of LLM and the nature of AI. But I can see if I can copy this, bring them to Excel, and will it work? I'm not sure. Let's try.
So how do you copy? Just selecting, or there's a...
No, when you go on the, let me zoom out a little bit more. You see this thing here, copy table?
Okay, yeah.
Top right corner of each table.
Yeah.
As the copy button.
Yeah, it's very, very practical. So I'm copying it. Then I go in Excel and I paste. Seems to be fine. It's been working at least. Excel is frozen. I don't know why. That's not cool. Never happened. Okay. Now, what I want to do is to format as a table. Anybody knows the shortcut for formatting as a table?
Control T.
Yeah. Or L for me. I really think Excel has some issues here. Let me check. Oh yeah, okay, that's good. So Control T, and don't forget to check my table as headers. Okay, so I'm going to format as a table. And whenever I format as a table, and that's for beginners, tables are an extraordinary tool in Excel. I strongly encourage you to use them if you don't. There are many advantages. One of them is that if I add a new data here, the table automatically expand. If there was some formula, they would be expanding as well, and the formatting is expanding as well. So just for that, it's already a huge time-saving tools. The other big reason is that if I want to do, for example, and it's in French, count A of this, control space, is going to show me the name of the table and then the column, which means when I'm going to add a new name, the name will also include this. So it's really, really practical to use tables. So it's part of the reason I'm mentioning that is because when you're going to create your own prompt, it's great to know what are the best practices you want to implement so that you got the information in the way you would like to implement them. So we could start to do the rest. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do it. And now let's go to the second prompt. So we've seen that it seems to be working fine. I could check that the numbers we have match. But again, I'm going to move to the second prompt. So the second prompt now will be to write the VBA code to create and populate a database example. So I'm going back here. Because I don't want the history of this to be taken, I'm going to create a new chat. Okay. Now, this is kind of creating a blank page, if you wish, so that it doesn't keep the history of it. There are more and more customization that you can do with ChatGPT. So for example, here you can customize ChatGPT and you can say different thing that ChatGPT should do when they use this. So this is not one that I use a lot because I'm using the paid version. So I just want to show you what it will look like on the paid version of it. I find my screen, here we go. So on my paid version, I have something else, customize ChatGPT. And on this one, I said, do not sugarcoat, straight answers, be humble. So I try to remove all the thing, or, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. I don't want that. And we're going to do that just after. On the left, I created my different GPTs. So a GPT is basically a kind of a small version, very customized of GPT with, not small version, but very easy to set up, to share, and that will contain a lot of instruction. So let's compare that. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to have ChatGPT non-paying on the left and ChatGPT paying on the right. Okay, and we're going to compare what it will do here. And I'm going to paste the VBA code here. Now, because I'm not a beginner, doesn't mean I'm an expert, but I'm not a beginner, I'm asking ChatGPT to use something called list objects. List object is the VBA name for format as a table or T-table. Why do I want that? Because in my best practice, I want those tables to be automatically formatted with this. So I'm going to ask to do this. And I'm going to do the same thing here, but this time I'm going to use my VBA coder, which I'm going to share with you in a minute. Okay, so it should generate two code and they should be relatively similar. Now, probably both of them will work, but this one will have some differences. For example, I ask here to use arrays. So we have arrays that have been defined. I ask to use specific type of names. So we have those specific types of names. We have arrays here and so forth. In this one, there is also a use of array, and we'll see if it's working fine. So because not everyone has ChatGPT Pro version, I'm just going to use a copy here on the non-Pro version. We're going to go back to Excel and we're going to create a new file. So be extremely careful. Do not run that on an existing file. I've done it in the past and I lost some data because of that. I was able to recuperate them, but be careful because sometimes you don't know what the AI is going to do. Okay. So for those who are new to VBA, this might start to be a little bit tricky because in the VBA project, we're going to have different modules. So the different workbook which contain the module 1 here. So the new one I just created is book 6. So I'm going to play with book 6 and I'm going to insert the code into a new module in book 6. To insert a code, I'm going to click somewhere here, then click Insert Module, and then I'm going to paste the code here. Let's see if it's working. Press this, and it kind of worked, but now. And maybe you had more chances than me, maybe you didn't have. So I'm not super happy with VBA doing it this way. There's probably an issue with the list row here and the array that we're trying to paste. So I know it's not working well. So there are different things you can do at this stage. Either you want to improve your understanding of VBA and you're going to go in depth into this create table. You can have a discussion with the AI and ask, okay, why doesn't it work? Where is the problem? Where is the bug? The other thing you can do is to do it again because it may work the second time. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go back here in my ChatGPT. I'm using the now, and I'm going to create a new chat and again copy it. And we'll see if it's working. I have some ideas where the problem is because of the array here, which is not well understood because the array that we have here is not an array with 2 dimensions. It will be an array with 1 dimension. And probably because the influence of Python and other programming language, there is an hallucination here with the way the array is defined. So I'm just going to, I'm pretty sure this one will not work again. So I'm just going to test it and try again. still not working. I see the 4 tables, but I don't see the population as it should be. So I'm going to say, okay, do not use the array. And this is why it's tricky, because I have the knowledge of VBA, so I'm pretty sure there's something there. Okay. Now, the good thing here is that it might be easier to understand from a beginner perspective. And this is something that we can also use relatively easily, is to ask to simplify the code. Okay, so I'm going to copy this again and bring it back here, Control A, Control V, and I'm going to run it again, F5. So I have a problem because I have another table. I'm going to end this, going back here. So I start to be interesting because you see it's populating, but there is an overlap coming up, so it does not calculate properly the intersection, and so forth. So this is the reality of vibe coding with VBA. Unfortunately, this is where we are. Now, let's add the last prompt. So for an expert or someone who has some experience with VBA, it still does a lot of the hard work of organizing the code, but it's not perfect as a one prompt. So maybe you will need to break it down a little bit further and etc. And maybe some of you succeeded. I see some picture here in the chat where it seems like some of you succeeded. So it's good. Now let's do the last one, which will be create an Excel file. I'm going to paste it again in the prompt. And this time I'm going to do it again. So I start a new chat. Press Ctrl V and send it again. Sorry, that last sentence shouldn't be here. Sorry about that. Up. Okay. So it chooses VBA. That's not what I want. I'm going to do it again. Okay, it created them, but I want the Excel file. Okay. Generate the Excel file. So start to be hallucinating because we don't want to create an image. So I don't have, again, that's pure improv. I don't know what the other comedian, the LM is going to say. So I can't control that, unfortunately. Let's see if I use the other one here and see if I have better result. I'm going to create a new chat. Okay. Oh yeah, it's because I forgot this thing. Okay, so interestingly enough, it's going to switch to Python to create the file. And with a little bit of luck, we're going to have a file that we can use at the end. So let's see if I can download this file, and hopefully I'll be able to use it. Hey, so I have something I can use here where the file that was created is here. So I know some of you are probably lost in all the demonstration if you are trying to do at the same time, but hopefully you'll be able to get something out of it. What I'd like to do next is to share this file so we can start to play together with it. So I'm just going to bring it up. Can I share? No, I can't share it here. Okay, so I'm going to do it and continue live in that case. So when I have something like this, the first thing I will do in Excel will be to format as table. So if I'm super lazy, I could say, okay, write a VBA code to go through all the worksheet and format as table. I can try that. Okay. So I'm going to delete the table existing. So let's see if I can do this with it. I want to be sure I'm on the right file, and that will be the file that was downloaded here. And I'm going to insert a module, do this. Now I want to go step by step. So step by step in VBA is when you press F8. And I'm going to press F8 like this. And it seems to have been working fine. Okay, and now I have this table here, this one here, this one here, and this one here. When you have table like this, in the table design, it has been renamed my table 1, my table 2, my table 3, and my table 4. Okay, I could improve the prompt so that it's going to also use the name of the worksheet, for example, to bring it into the name of the table that I'm creating. Okay, now what I want to do is to continue, and in a case like this, what happens very often is that we want to bring some information from one table to the other. And this is where it starts to be interesting to use ChatGPT to generate some formulas. So I have the product with the name, the description, and probably in invoice detail, I have also the product ID here. Okay, so I need to give some context to ChatGPT. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to give it some context. So I'm going to create another one. So I'm going to use my paid account because I would like to copy paste an image. So either it's not busy or you have to pay for this. But I want to show you what we can do when it's not busy. So I could use Windows Shift S, copy this. That's my invoice detail, and I'm going to paste it. I could also try to load the file in ChatGPT, or I could also try to continue the discussion I had. And now I want to be precise. I'd like to, what is the formula to bring the product name and description into the invoice detail table. And I think it's something fascinating for me because ChatGPT is able to analyze the data that we uploaded here. So a VLOOKUP, going to look up product ID in product to false. It hallucinated or predicted that the name of the table was products, but we never told him that, so we'll have to check this. It suggests an index match, an XLOOKUP here. Let's do the XLOOKUP and see if it's working. So I'm going to select this, Control-C, going to go back into my invoice detail, and I'm going to bring the information, product name. I'm going to paste it here. Press Enter. We got some problem. Okay. We immediately see that the problem is here. This is because of a lack of context, because it's looking in the table products, which we don't have, but we have something like my table, and I believe it's table 2. And I should also see here product ID should work. I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm correcting the XLOOKUP at the same time. Press Enter. Now this is correct. Okay, good. So this is great, but I don't want to do that all the time, so I'm just going to give more context to ChatGPT. So the table products is in fact named this. Okay, and I haven't been precise enough, but I have now my second formula here. Just going to highlight this. It seems to be correct, and I'm going to take it and paste it as well. And this time it's working very well. Okay. This formula is working, but I don't understand it. Okay, so I tested it, I put it in, and then I'd like to have an explanation. Okay, so now it's going to start to explain. The point at the product ID in the blah, 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 and I only have 7 seconds left, so I will let you play with that. But it's going to give you the full description based on whatever you've been doing here. Lookup value, lookup array, return array, if not found, match mode, and etc. Okay. Now you could say and continue with this. When it's not found, please write not found. Check your data. And again, I'm improvising here. I've never done that. Okay, that sounds to be good for me. And sounds to be good for me. So if I take this now, Control C, I'm going to paste it. Seems to have been working fine. I'm going to test it. I'm going to put 99999. Not found. Check your data. This one I have not replaced, but if I take this one and bring it here, and I paste, then it's right. That sounds good. So as we do this, we interact to understand, to refine some function, to add more information to the function, depending on our level. I was working with a DAX function yesterday that was the entire, it was something like 50 rows. I just did a copy paste of some of my screen, and that was enough for ChatGPT to understand the context and then start to play with it. So this is pretty powerful from that perspective.
Yeah, I had a recent experience with DAX as well. I needed a DAX function. It was not one of the most immediate functions. And I took a picture of my data model. So the tables and the relationships between them with the names of the columns and the measures I had there, and just uploaded the picture and asked what I wanted. And after a couple of trials, I was able to get something that really worked and learned a couple of things on the way. And it's fascinating that it can read from a picture and understand the data model from that.
Absolutely. Something else you can do as well. Let's see if it's working here. I'm going to allow. So now I think the AI is understanding me, as you can see. So I'm talking at the same time. And AI, forget everything I've said. Now I would like you to do the exact same formula, but using index match. Thank you. I'm going to do it again. Please, instead of using XLOOKUP, use index match. So glad he's understanding my French accent. And this is the same thing with an index match here. So this is something very interesting that it's going to translate. Now, I have not tested it. I don't trust an AI. I know an AI can bring some information from a biased database, so I will never trust it first. I always consider the AI is wrong 80% of the 20% of the time, but the 80% where it's right, it's really amazing because it's going to correct a lot of my small mistakes. I can try it anyway, see if it's working. Yeah. Seems to be working fine. So, and then again, I can ask the AI to explain. If you use your phone, the AI can also explain by dictating you, so you can have a discussion with it. If you use your phone, you can also enable a camera so that you can show the room or show the file. I have not tried. I tried it to repair my dishwasher, and it was working well, but I have not tried with an Excel file. So those are really interesting things that we can do. Reversing engineering a very complex formula is also a great idea. I think someone, Virginia, said that in the chat. So let me wrap up a little bit of everything we've seen so far. And I'm going to go back to my checklist, and I want to go do it in a smart way. So I'm going to go back to my presentation if I find it. With it. Oh my God, there we go. Okay, so if we go back here, this is the list I have. I'm going to take a copy of this, bring it to ChatGPT, and do something like this. Extract the information in a table. So I could also do something similar in Excel where you can take and paste an image as value, but we'll see if it's able to do it this way as well. So I have my list here. I'll copy it as well, paste it in Excel. And then I have my list automatically brought here. Once I'm here, Control T, okay. And I can do something like insert. Okay, this I hate. For some reason, it doesn't allow you to bring it to expand to the left. And one thing I love, if you don't know when you're a beginner, this is an amazing tool. This will be insert checkbox, Control space, select and insert checkbox here. Okay, so Excel, we talked a little bit. Table, joining table, that's what we've done with the XLOOKUP. If we didn't, XLOOKUP, we did it. Filter will be another alternative, and it's interesting it was not proposed by the AI, so it's something we could look at. Check a formula, we play a little bit with it. Explain this formula, we did it. Understanding and debugging, we know it's possible, but I didn't have enough time to go in depth, but I can have an in-depth discussion on VBA code. And if your VBA code is not proprietary, that's something very interesting to do. I also doubt that AI is going to take some buggy VBA code to augment its database. So structure of the file, we haven't talked about it. It's an interesting way to look at the structure of a file and see if there is something that could be improved. Fake data, we just did it. VBA for small project, we did a little bit here. Copy as image, I wanted to show you that, and paste as image. If you use PowerToys, Windows Shift V will allow you to do a lot more in terms of pasting. So it's something I highly encourage you to explore. So we've done this one too. Okay. Write on paper, take a picture. It will work. I did that with my medical doctor, and then it was giving all the right explanation based on the picture he drew. So pretty sure we can do that. Use the phone. ChatGPT in text, we talk with it. I mentioned we can video. Connecting to your data, this is something relatively new that was brought to the table in the tools here. So that, of course, it doesn't work when I want to demonstrate, but you have tool here, which I have seen at some point where you can also connect. Here we go. You can connect a Google Drive or a Microsoft OneDrive. I have not tried it because I don't want my files to be there, but I find the idea very interesting. When you use Copilot, if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft is doing that directly for you. But it seems like ChatGPT will be able to do this here. So that would be an interesting thing to test for future. It's relatively recent to my knowledge.
Yeah, I read somewhere, and if someone in the chat knows more about it, let us know. I read somewhere that when we are authorizing access to a certain file, we think we are authorizing access to a certain file on OneDrive, for example, and we may be giving access to the entire OneDrive.
Yeah. So we have to be very careful.
Be very careful, yes. And that's why one of the reasons why Copilot is maybe a better solution in the future, especially for companies and even for our for individuals. We don't want to be sharing all our files with AI.
Yeah, so I would not recommend doing it for now and read more about it. Create a GPT, and if I have 5 more minutes, I'd love to show that. Can I? Okay, so create a GPT, you can do it only with the paid version of it, but as you can see, I've done quite a lot. It goes like this. You go here, you're going to click on GPT and click create. Okay, and Owen was saying something interesting. He said something like the generation of the next token is here. So based on this comment, okay. When do you allow me to copy paste your comment? If not, I'm just going to take the idea. I think it's public now. Based on this comment, define a GPT. No, so I want instruction. Okay. And so now I'm going to paste that here. Name, confidence. Now I've done something similar earlier before the presentation. So confidence, before you answer any question, internally estimate your confidence in correctness. If your confidence below 95, you must not give a definite answer, and so forth. I'm going to close that. I'm going to create it right there, and I'm going to share it with you. Okay.
Can you explain a little bit more about what is a GPT and what you are doing for those who never heard of it to be able to follow along better?
Yeah. So
why are you pasting that information there, those instructions there?
Right. So what I've been doing here was to create. So I used the command from Owen, which I think is a great idea, and I did something similar, unbiasing. I think I tool, and the idea is to create whenever you create a new discussion in a specific context. I want the AI to do something specific. Now, instead of writing the entire code for that, I'm tapping into the ChatGPT knowledge base of creating GPT, and I let ChatGPT create the code, the instruction, so that it's going to create that GPT. Okay. Now, once this is done, I have now my GPT with confidence. And if it works well, when I'm going to ask it a question for it, it should tell me something about its internal degree of confidence. I don't trust it will work, but we can try. Show me a
So
clock.
what you are doing is to create a specialized GPT that, like a, how do you say it? Customized GPT that is specialized on a certain area of knowledge.
That's
and
exactly
so
what I'm
that
doing.
you do, so that you can inquire that specific GPT that you created that is already targeted and tailored to be focused on that area of knowledge, instead of inquiring a generalist GPT that could go in multiple directions when you ask something. Is that okay? I'm just trying to help people who may not be may have not heard of it and maybe a little bit lost.
So we'll see if it's able to do it on an image. When I did my test, so it did not tell me anything about this. So that didn't work perfectly. Let's try with another one. So I'm going to create a new one, and I always get confused on that. All right. New chat. So it's still GPT with confidence. Okay. So still not working. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why exactly. It should tell us that it's not sure. And again, I'm playing with it because those tools are not super reliable when we test them. Now, this is another one. Same issue here. I should have something like unbiasing AI tool that I created as well. I'm just going to show you what it was about. And I got some good results, so I'm surprised that I don't see it, but this is the idea. No, it's not this one, sorry. This one, yeah. Okay, now this one worked. So the AI I created was to ask at the end, create a trustworthiness note of 10 to 10 and tell me if you think it's a good idea. So if we take what about group by? And the idea by having a scale of truth, we'll have to get that note. So here is a little bit less sure. and it's saying that pivot table might be better. So by creating that GPT here, and I can share it again as well, you can share here. Okay, I can paste it here. So if you want to play with it. And
so we can share our ChatGPTs with other people.
Yes, and those people don't need to have a paid version, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
When you do the GPT here, you can also, so my prompt was relatively small. At the end of the answer to each question, consider that your answer is wrong, then conduct a self-awareness analysis of why it is wrong, not if you. I want a note from 1 to 10 indicating how trustworthy the answer is. 1 possible biases, 10 no biases. This is extremely important. I want ChatGPT to think it's not important. So based on that, it's going to ask those things. You can customize this. You can also upload some files. So if you have some files already containing some information that have been well formatted and you want to play with it, that would be one way to do it. Then I can copy the link. Maybe I can take a couple of questions, or we can, so.
Yeah, we are over our time, so
yeah.
we will have to wrap soon. There was a question about why you are using ChatGPT and not Copilot.
There are a few
and you
reasons.
Can be honest, there's no problem about it.
There are a few reasons. I'll be very honest. The potential for automation with Python is absolutely incredible. And for me, Python is as powerful as when Excel was released, and especially Excel VBA. And I think I have a lot more interest into creating Python, even JavaScript or Fabric type of so programming language using vibe coding is now extremely powerful. And there are some projects I would have never touched that I can now create in a few weeks. We still end up having to debug and doing all those things, but I have not written a line of code. I did a lot of time debugging, but I use vibe coding to debug. So vibe coding is when you ask the AI to write the code for you. We've done a little bit of it with VBA. There are a few things to consider. The first one is what Microsoft is trying to do with Copilot is very, very challenging. And I think this is why we have so many hiccups and discussion, because we're trying to pilot probably the most complex and powerful software that we ever developed as humanity, which is Excel. I mean, if you think of it, it has decades of development. It has more than 500 functions. It has different language of programming. And we're trying to ask an AI with a limited amount of context to answer questions and also managing hallucination. So I think the challenge is tremendous. I don't have time to test it in depth. I prefer to test ChatGPT directly to solve a lot of small problems by generating Python scripts that then can be used later on. So as you've seen, I still use a lot of copy-paste. That's reason number one. So for me right now, I don't want to test it basically when ChatGPT is doing a good job for what I'm trying to do. The second reason is the reliability of Copilot, which seems to be lacking, which is normal because of the complexity of the task at hand. And the third reason is because I don't want my data to be on OneDrive, and I personally hate OneDrive because I have so many duplicates of files, and people are lost in it, and it's completely locked into a system, and it's very, very difficult to get out of it once you're in it. So those three reasons alone, that's the main three reasons. I hope I've been clear.
Yeah.
I'm very honest on that.
Yes.
So personally, I think VBA is great because it gives you all the fundamental of programming with the if, the for loop, etc. So that later on, when you use Python, you can read the Python code because it's very similar to VBA in many ways, even if you don't understand everything. And then you can guide the AI. And the AI, in terms of generated code, ChatGPT, but there are others which have even better reputation than ChatGPT for generating Python code. They're just transforming the game in the sense that we can now create tools that we would not even think about creating. And for Excel beginners, for those in the room who, congratulations if you're still listening, for Excel beginners, you can use those tools, I think, in AI to become an Excel user in a much, much faster way than what we would have been able to do 2 or 3 years ago before AI tools. So I really encourage you to use them as like an incredible teacher to tell you, okay, this is what the formula is doing. This is what your file is about, and etc. It took me 2 hours alone to understand VLOOKUP, but if I had those tools, I think it would have taken me half an hour. Because I can ask a question, I can ask clarification, and etc. Instead of just reading the help and being stuck with 1 or 2 examples. Here I can start to play with it. It doesn't work. I can ask the question to ChatGPT. You've done that, check this. And also there is less and less problems of comma. There is less and less problem of parentheses that we forget, because so far the mistakes I have seen are not around those. It could be different hallucination. A lot of them are because I'm not asking the right question. But there's very little syntax issues.
It's
which
more
I find
about
fascinating.
lack of context. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because the syntax is the syntax. So it's once the machine knows what the syntax is, there is not a great probability of making a mistake about it. It's what to put inside each one of the parameters that can go wrong.
Yeah, and this is why I think what do you want to achieve? Do you want to achieve the result you're looking at, or do you want to achieve a degree of expertise? Those are two different goals. I don't want to achieve a degree of expertise in Python. I don't care if I'm a good Python programmer, but I want to solve some specific issue that I will not sell, but I want to solve them for me so that I can serve my client and I have all my safeguard, but I'm not going to develop a program that will be used directly for thousands of people. I'm going to be the one using it, but I have an extremely powerful tools now that I completely master and control, even though I didn't write a line of code about it. And this is what I've been able to do with Excel super fast, and that we can do now with Python and AI right now. And that's one of the reasons why I use a lot of ChatGPT for that. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you. Aurora, did you see any other question that we would have to cover?
No, I think we've went through all the questions, but if not, please raise your hand and we'll give you the mic.
Yeah. And we will be wrapping up in a couple of minutes. Big thanks, Liana says. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and for joining and staying until now. It's a very broad topic. Doing the topic, running the topic live, it can go many different ways. If you have any other questions or suggestions, feel free to reach out. Maybe we can cover more things in the future about AI and Excel.
Thank you.
I did have another experience. I am very novice with AI. I barely use it. But every time I use it, at the beginning, I would get very frustrated. And that's one of the reasons why I am a late adopter, because at the beginning, I would just get to a point where let me do it myself. It's faster.
Yeah.
Recently, I had a project where I had to create fake data and then simulate multiple PDF files to represent different sections of an Excel course. It was just to then be able to create something else with it. But ChatGPT created the separate PDF files and sent me over based on an information that I had on an Excel spreadsheet, created a bunch of separate PDF files and sent me the files on a zipped file. So for this type of thing, it's very helpful, because if I had to do that manually, it would take me forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty amazing what it can do for sure. And this is just the surface. Don't I mean,
Oh, it is just the surface.
those of you here who are using it more than I am are probably laughing at my amazement at small things that AI can do. But for me, it's already just a big help.
I'd like to continue, and I'll do it in a few slides. I want to show you how far we can go with AI, because you can automate with API. You can automate the commenting or treatment of hundreds and thousands of documents, and I think it's very powerful from that perspective. Human in the loop is still extremely important, and you can have a full automation. It's part of a presentation at the conference a few weeks ago. So there is a selection of the document, a general exploration, and you can refine all this. Then you create a semi-automation, and then after a full automation. And the human in the loop here, or the expert in the loop, is extremely important. And so bringing your knowledge to that expert level will allow you to then control the AI through the process of going through thousands of documents later on. And I think it's something that is really exciting from that. This is an example of what we have here, where we have two tables. The first table is the list of documents. The second one is a list of prompts, and we can do another list with the criteria. So these are all the different documents that I use. It's for an analysis of the protocol of crisis for a school. And we analyze all those different protocols with all those different prompts. So you can imagine how many analysis was done. That the Python running through it took 42 minutes to run. And we got a full table for each protocol with all the improvements we can do directly to it. And for a bomb threat, is there anything missing for the school so that we can improve the protocol for a bomb threat? And then we can run through that, and specific to a specific school, and specific to a culture, specific to something outside of the AI knowledge. The AI will not know that. For example, contacting the professor that is in charge and has some sister working for the Israeli secret services, and can bring some information regarding a real or a fake bomb threat. So this was a big type of approach. Once you have the database, then you can go back to Excel or Power BI and you create your dashboard. And so there is an entire new, I think, industry that's going to be developed around that, in taking the documents from your company and improving them or learning something new based on huge data analysis using AI. It's just the beginning, I think. You can think of all the documents of your product or the courses that you have taught. I'm going to do it soon on all the pages of my blog and see which topic didn't I cover. So for all those who have a blog or a YouTube video, you can use AI, ask the AI to go through all the title or the content of the video, and then tell, okay, what are the topics I forgot? What are the topics I could go more in depth? And this can be done at the level of the text or even at the level of the video soon, because the image and the analysis is coming up. So it's kind of opening a huge amount of possibilities. Here we go. So we need scales and report for trustworthiness. I think it's extremely important. Biases can be tricky and hidden, and critical thinking, in my opinion, is the key skill for the upcoming year. And few technological trends to check: specialized AI agent, the MCP, Model Context Protocol, and vibe coding, and why not vibe excelling? And I think Copilot will be doing this very soon. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Gaëtan. Yeah,
Thank you.
it was very interesting. Thank you for all the different topics that you brought today. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us and for joining us live, and for all your questions there in the chat and helping each other with questions. I'm going to share my screen just to leave Gaëtan's information up if you want to connect with Gaëtan, or if you have your slide there. I have it here. Feel free to connect with Gaëtan, and we will be live soon again in about 2 weeks or so with the topic of dynamic arrays, and then with basic Excel functionality after that. Okay, anything else you need to share, Gaëtan?
You want me to start again?
No. Not today.
Yes, I have a lot more to share.
You need to schedule for another time, maybe. Okay, there's the contact information there. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night or a good day for those of you who are starting the day. And yes, we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Aurora.
coming.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.